So here's an update to the video I covered yesterday, which is titled, Wife Used My Secrets to Win an Argument, Now I'm Using Her Rotten Attitude to Win the Divorce. And a lot of you guys asked me to do an update if one was there. Well, as it turns out, they got updated already. And let me tell you guys, this update here, his conversation and the confrontation he has with his wife is very revealing. You're going to get an education today. This ain't just about entertainment, about weakness and women's perception of weakness and men and all that, and how you all recall in his story, he in the past shared a lot of things about his childhood with his wife, his very bad childhood. It was terrible. At her asking for this, her prodding him for it, and she used it against him. It was terrible. I mean, it was just, and she is heartless. And you're going to see here you're really going to see what I've been saying all along about keeping your fears and vulnerabilities, emotions to yourself. You don't make your wife your therapist. You don't cry in front of her, pour things out, because it will backfire. Even though they tell you they want you to do that, it turns them off. So he continues on his story. He says here, I waited until Tuesday. She went through the weekend, and Monday like nothing had happened. A little colder than usual, quick with her answers, acting irritated like I was the one who had caused all this. Of course she's making him out to be the bad guy here. No apology from her, not even a hint. It felt like I was carrying something heavy while she just moved around it. By Tuesday afternoon, I couldn't hold it anymore. I asked her to sit down with me, the house was quiet, and I told her I needed to talk about what she said during the fight, because this wasn't something we could just shrug off. I reminded her that the fight had started because I refused to hit our son while teaching. Hit your son? Remember there was a disagreement about the kids and school and all that? Are you freaking kidding me? She wants them to hit the kid? You're not learning your multiplication tables fast enough. Smack! What kind of mom is this? I told her I don't believe in doing that to kids to make them learn, and that she had pushed for it. That's where the argument began, and somehow it slid into something so much uglier. I asked her why she used what I told her in confidence against me. I reminded her that she had asked me to open up to her years ago and promised she would keep it safe. I asked her why she hugged me back then if this was where it would end up. At first she was stiff. So, is he going to get a truthful answer out of her? She said she didn't know what else she was supposed to do at the time. She told me she just tried to act normal, to be supportive, because she didn't know how to handle what I told her. She said she hadn't realized how heavy it was until later. Her voice was even like she was just explaining facts to me. I told her the promise. I told her the promise mattered. I said it wasn't about a slip in anger. It was that she reached for the exact things I handed her in trust and turned them against me, and I asked her again why. You remember he told her all those things about his horrible childhood, and she was so nasty about it. Well, that's when she admitted it. She told me she lost some respect for me after I opened up to her. There you go, guys. I asked her what that meant. She said it wasn't one detail, it was the whole picture. She said she had always seen me as solid, someone who could carry weight around without bending, the person she leaned on. But after I shared everything, she couldn't stop seeing the breaks under the surface. Translation, when he opened up about his childhood and past, she stopped seeing him as this strong rock of a guy for her and her family. She was turned off by it, even though she was prodding him about it. She wanted him to open up and all that. What a load of crap. But it is what it is, guys. This is why you don't make your wife your therapist or cry or all that. It turns them off. And a lot of women don't understand that. They want our guy to talk. And then when he does about what's bothering him or issues, they're turned off. You don't believe me, guys? Just do it. Watch how quickly she gets turned off. Watch her body language. Watch her facial expressions. I have gotten so much crap over the years, particularly on my main channel when I tell guys not to do this. Well, right here. Now, she's an awful person, of course, but I've seen nice girls do this. She said that parts of my story made me look fragile to her. In other words, weak. Some of the darker pieces, the way those years sat inside of me, gave her an uneasy feeling that she couldn't shake. Seeing me tear up and feel so nervous and like a wreck made her look at me very differently, and she actually used the word ick. She said sometimes when she remembered those things, it got in the way of how she looked at me. Again, it turned her off. Even though she's the one that wanted to know all those things. They expect you to be strong and solid all the time. Not 95% of the time, 100% of the time. And it's unfair and it's bullshit. But it's reality. In fact, I believe she's being honest here. I asked if that meant that she thought less of of me for surviving. She said it wasn't about surviving, it was about how it changed what she expected from me. She admitted she had built an image of me that didn't include those kind of wounds, and once she knew, she couldn't put that image back. I'd be like, well, bitch, I can't put back the image back of you after what you did to me the other day and said to me. And oh yeah, we're getting divorced, fuck you. I asked her why she hugged me then, why she told me she wanted to know me fully. She said she didn't know what else to do in the moment. She didn't want to punish me for telling the truth. She said holding me and saying it was okay, it felt like the only decent response at the time, even though inside she had already started to see me differently. So she was totally turned off when he opened up to her, but she put on the act like, let me give you a hug, and she's like, tap, tap, tap. Meanwhile, she's like, eh. I let that sink in. And then I asked the harder thing. She said she couldn't control herself in that moment, and she reached for what she knew would hurt me the most. She said she regretted it and that it would never happen again. No, she didn't actually apologize. I regret it. She's not sorry. She felt like she had to do that to him, She was punishing him for, in her mind, acting weak. Years ago when he brought that up. And oh yeah, because he doesn't want to hit his kid because he can't do his multiplication tables or whatever. I also thought about how it might sound from the outside, like maybe I dumped too much in her back then. But the truth is, I never sat her down and unloaded everything at once. I gave her my story the way she asked for it, piece by piece, only when she pressed me. If she wanted to know something, I answered. I didn't overshare, didn't volunteer random details, and even then, she probably overheard a fraction of what actually went on. What makes this worse is that I've been to therapy. I've done the work. I wasn't unloading on her because I couldn't carry it myself. The only reason she ever heard those parts of me was because she demanded it. She insisted I open up to her, insisted she wanted the whole picture, and she told me she wanted to know me fully, and I believed her. Dude, most guys would have done what you did. It's not your fault, but now you know. I trusted her enough to hand over things I never planned on saying out loud. That's why this betrayal feels so much heavier. It wasn't me blurting out things I couldn't control. It was me handing her pieces myself because she begged for them, swore she'd hold them safe. And then she took some of those pieces and cut me with them. It feels like giving someone your heartbeat because they said they wanted to hold it close and then watching them drive a knife straight through it. Amen. Good analogy. Now again, ditch the bitch. After she said all that, I just sat there for a while. It was like I'd finally gotten the truth behind everything, but it didn't settle in clearly with me. I wasn't shocked anymore, more resigned. I also thought about how it might sound from the outside, like maybe I had dumped too much on her back then. But the truth is, I never sat her down and unloaded everything at once. I gave her my story, the way she asked for it bit by bit, only in response to her questions. If she wanted to know something, I told her. I didn't add anything extra, didn't volunteer random details, and even then, she probably only heard a quarter of what actually went on. Why was she so intent on me being open and emotionally vulnerable then? Because that's what she thought she was supposed to do. But until you actually gave her an answer. The truth. Dude, don't try to understand women. Men have been trying to understand women since the beginning of time. 2,000 more years, okay. Since whatever the beginning of time when men and women were in the caves and started communicating, I guarantee you, add that time to where we are now, and men are still not going to understand women. Although probably by then, either we have destroyed ourselves, or men have like AI robotic girlfriends at that point. So they won't be dealing with women. I don't know. Says here, I told her that I didn't think I could go back to how things were. I said I felt like the foundation was cracked in a way I could not ignore. I told her maybe the only way forward was to separate amicably, quietly, before things get any worse. Well, good for him for saying that. I said I don't think I could keep looking at her the same way, not after knowing she could turn something so personal into a weapon. Well, good for you, man. That's when her whole tone shifted. Aha! The firmness she had when she explained herself dropped, and she sounded almost panicked. Uh-oh, trouble in paradise. Well, now he's acting strong by saying, I'm going to get rid of you. She asked me not to say that, and she didn't want a divorce. She told me she loved me, that whatever she'd done in anger wasn't bigger than the life we had built. What life had you built? She's a fucking asshole. She couldn't imagine splitting the kids up between us, couldn't imagine them growing up in two houses. She told me leaving them would scar them more than anything we had been through. Nice trick, honey. Using the kids against him for wanting to divorce her. It's better the kids grew up in separate households with him instead of seeing those two together. And again, Although, but let's also remember she wanted to like have the husband hit the kid because he wasn't doing his homework right. That's terrible. What the hell? They should not be with her. I told her love isn't supposed to look like tearing each other apart with the sharpest words we can find. She said she knew that and promised again that it wouldn't happen anymore. Bullshit. She said she'd already admitted it was wrong, and she meant it when she said she would never do it again. She kept circling back to the same point that we had kids, they needed us together, that whatever issues we had to fix them without breaking the family apart. That's her only card here, is about the kids. Well, she didn't cry, but there was a kind of desperation in her voice. Almost like she was afraid I was already out the door, and she was trying to pull me back any way she could. She didn't apologize again for what she said, not directly, but she kept stressing that it would never happen again, and that I shouldn't throw everything away for one mistake. Even if it was one mistake, it was the biggest one mistake. She doesn't care about you, man. Right now, I haven't made a final decision. I keep going back and forth in my head. Part of me feels like the damage is too deep, and I'd be lying to myself if I pretended. I can never really see her the same way again. But another part of me hesitates because walking away isn't simple when there are kids and years of life tied together. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't leaning more in one direction in the end than the other, but I'm not there yet. Dude, don't do it. Don't stay with her. It's a terrible idea. I feel heavy most days, caught between wanting to protect myself and not wanting to tear my family in half. Some moments I think I know what to do, then I second guess it. It's draining, but at least writing this down and hearing different perspectives has made me feel less alone. Brother, you're not alone. You got guys all over the fucking world and some good women chiming in on here on YouTube and Reddit, and they have your back. But you can't stay with her. Thank you to everyone who's taken the time to read, comment, or even send me a message directly. It means more than I can put into words. I couldn't respond to every single individual, but I've gone through all the comments, maybe even twice. Thank you, strangers. Well, bro, that's a lot, and that is sad, and that's what happens. And I've talked about this for years. Most of you guys watching this have heard me say at one point, you can't make her your therapist, you can't pour out your feelings, even though the narrative, you all know this, tell guys to open up and cry and be vulnerable, all that. No, they'll often use that against you, and they'll lose respect for you. Is it fair? No, it's not fair. My dad told me when I was 7 years old, when I said life isn't fair, he said, son, life is not fair. And I never forgot that. He did me a favor saying that, even though it was harsh. So, keep your fears and vulnerabilities to yourself, guys. And if you have a wife that's this harsh towards you, get rid of her. So I hope, like hell, he learns from this and gets rid of her and starts again. But we shall see, because we know darn well this isn't over. So, guys, there you go. That's the update. What's going on? You see an update to this? Let me know.